far too many violent gang members terrorizing the streets of Baltimore, and we need to remove as many of them as we can as quickly as possible.
The police department is no longer the only city agency that these folks who live in underserved communities for decades see.
Once again, we hear enough is enough. Governor Hogan declaring an all-out war on violence in the city of Baltimore. Professor Rick Vance.
Well, Governor Hogan is active and serious about reducing crime. Mayor Pugh is neither active nor serious about reducing crime. What we need is a mayor who is more concerned about crime than she is about her popularity.
Gene Fugit.
Well, first of all, that's not even true, so I don't even know why you bring the mayor in like that. But the fact is, the governor has recognized that the Baltimore City Police Department is a failed agency.
Mary Cook.
I would just simply say you cannot arrest away this problem. Arresting people is not going to solve the problem.
Caroline Arball.
Well, you know, if a terrible infectious disease swept Baltimore City, the CDC would come in and temporarily take over. We have an epidemic in Baltimore, and we need all the help we can get, whether it's from, you know, the state, wherever it comes from. I think we should take it and do everything we can at this time to help control it. I agree with you.
All right, you agree with Gene, but first we're going to agree with our sponsors. Welcome to Square Off, and we're brought to you today by the law offices of Barry Glazer, who's so successfully bringing justice to the medically abused, with a medical doctor right on his staff. Call 410-547-8568. Let Barry Glazer win for you. And by Live Casino and Hotel. Be the next big winner with the giant jackpot celebration. When the jackpot hits, everyone wins. Visit MarylandLiveCasino.com at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Play responsibly, and for help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Let me be crystal clear. I have absolutely no tolerance whatsoever for these repeat violent offenders and these criminal gangs causing lawlessness in our streets.
All right, Mary, take off.
So when I say you can't arrest yourself, you can't arrest your way out of this problem. It's not just a question of arresting people. First of all, you have to have cases that pass muster. You have to be able to then get convictions. When you send people to jail, those sentences need to be carried out. In other words, there's a lot of parole eligibility associated with many of the convictions that people receive. You need to have services so that people are not recidivists, and you need to provide services in the community so people never get there in the first place. So it's got to be an overall effort. You can't attack it by attacking one thing.
All right, brief comments today, please.
Let me say something. I think the governor's efforts deal with people who need punishment. The fact is that Baltimore has a consistent criminal element, and until you start acting to eliminate that criminal element, and that can be done through disincentivizing women from having babies without a present father.
Oh, let's stop with that right now. That's unbelievable. You even bring that up. A woman can have a baby anytime she wants. Can't women do what they want?
All right, guys.
You know, the only way you win arguments is to stop people from speaking. May I make my point?
Make it briefly, please.
Yeah, you stop incentivizing single women from having babies without a present father. You stigmatize those who do. You promote abstinence and birth control. 72% of families in Baltimore are without fathers.
Okay,
let's just get a scarlet letter, okay? Why don't we just get a scarlet letter and put it on all the women who decide to have babies? I mean, what are you talking about? Women can't have babies without fathers. You need a father to have a baby, don't you?
I said present fathers. You got to listen better.
All right, guys, you've been doing this for 10 years. Let's hold up 1 minute.
I think the answer is somewhere in the middle of everything you all are saying, in the sense that I agree with Mary. You can't just arrest away the problems. But I think that the governor's plan is that we need immediate action to take care of the crime. But I think we also then need something more to look at long term. We need to immediately stop the violence, because we can't, I mean, right now we can't just plan for, you know, programs that will help these youths to stop, you know, committing these crimes, because we need something immediately. Right. But we also need programs for them in the future. So I agree.
It's kind of both. And thank God for the FBI, because, Professor, you're right. There is a criminal element, and unfortunately, it's in our police department.
But can I tell you something? That when you're talking about arrests, you're talking about probable cause, okay? when you're talking about convictions, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. There's such a big the standard changes so dramatically that if you don't make good arrests, the arrests serve no purpose other than to immediately remove the person from the street. But no, the problem with that is also it sends a bad message to people. This is the whole thing that, you know, with the O'Malley idea of trying to, you know, arrest everybody, arrest away the problem. It didn't work. It made things worse.
Until we get a police department that the community has confidence in, and they can testify before a jury in Baltimore and the jury believes them, we can't do anything.
And the only way to have that happen is to have the police be supported, though, because unfortunately the police are afraid to do things since the riots happened, which is why the crime's gotten worse the last 3 years than it's ever been.
There are problems throughout the system. Yes, there are problems with respect to crime and punishment, but there also is a problem that we never talk about. The Baltimore Sun has article after article about the crime problem in Baltimore. They never mention once the criminal element that is permanent in Baltimore and how over 10 to 15 years you can reduce that. And I'm telling you, you can reduce that, again, by disincentivizing people having children without present fathers. You can disincentivize, and that is a critical element.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Come on, it's outrageous.
So moms that have babies without dads who are present raise criminals. I'm sorry, I don't accept that. I don't accept that.
But it's true.
And by the
Look
way,
at the statistics.
pregnancy, no. The rate of pregnant women, single pregnant women in Maryland and in Baltimore specifically has gone down drastically over the years.
It has not gone down.
It has gone down drastically.
Getting back to what Hogan said.
Worse than Donald Trump. This is laughable that you would talk about something like that.
I want you to know, because you made that comment about the police department, that the commissioner, Kevin Davis, and his staff, they are up almost 24/7. They're making the arrests. They're having the problem with some of these guys getting not sentenced properly.
They're overwhelmed.
And every
year,
they
are overwhelmed.
This is Saigon.
Every year,
there's not enough police.
Every year,
and this thing has been so bad for so long.
One at a time.
Every year, the criminal population is enforced. You have more people who become criminals every year. There's
but
nothing.
Professor, can I ask a question? How long has the police wrongdoing been going on, and now we're just getting to that?
I don't deny.
See, until we get,
let him finish.
I don't deny.
You finish.
I don't.
No, until we get this core out, and until the community can get confidence again in the police and the prosecutors, this is not going to stop.
Let me tell you something. First of all, I don't disagree with problems you cite. I'm telling you that if you solve those problems, that's how much effect it will have. Until you deal with the fact that you are creating a new criminal element every year in Baltimore, you're going to continue to have criminals who will commit crimes.